everyone. Finn here from the SDGC with the inaugural episode of Finnterviews, where I interview people because trade shows don't exist anymore and we can't do it in person, but there's still so many cool people in the world to talk to. This industry is filled with awesome people from all sectors, and today we're going to talk to one of them. And our very first guest is Michael from Blue Bubble Games, for the developers of Foregone. How are you today, sir?
I'm good. It's just a nice Saturday over here. It's pretty warm, so can't complain.
Where's here?
In London, Ontario, Canada. If you know where
Canada.
Toronto is, we're like an hour south of that and an hour north of Detroit. So kind of in between the two.
All right. Well, thank you again. I mean, I know we've tried to have you on the show off and on, trying to figure it out for so long. So that's why when I started this little side segment, you were one of the first people I thought of, because we've been wanting to talk to you for a while. For those that don't know, what's Foregone?
Foregone is the way I like to describe it is it's a like 2D action platform looter. So like it's your traditional side-scrolling platformer with looter elements, kind of like Diablo, Destiny, kind of that style of stuff. And most people, when they see it, they ask, is this a Metroidvania? Or obviously we get a lot of Dead Cells comparisons, and they ask, is it like that? Is it a roguelite? And there are Metroid elements, but I would never describe it as like a true pure Metroidvania. And it's not a roguelike either, in that there's permanent progression in both the world and your character. So when you die, you kind of can think of it like Dark Souls, where you maintain everything that you've progressed with, but you lose like a soft currency that you're using to upgrade stuff. So that's kind of the route we've gone, and nothing's procedurally generated. It's all like a handcrafted world.
That was actually how you drew me in, because we met you at a PAX back in 2019.
Yes.
I believe it was PAX West.
Yes, PAX West.
And that was that because I don't know why I'm playing with my cursor. I love Dead Cells, but my one gripe was I'm just not a big roguelite fan. And so you took like the same great visual aesthetic and gameplay style, you turned it into a sci-fi bend, but you made it an actual, what's the word, handcrafted. It's not procedurally generated, and for me that was such a big draw. And how have you guys as devs been handling that comparison? Because I know it's never fun to be constantly like pointed to as with another huge successful game. So how have you played with that comparison as developers?
Yeah. I mean, on the one hand, it's like definitely flattering, I think, to get people who make the comparisons, because when we started down the road and everything, we knew we wanted to make an action platformer, and Dead Cells, just like, it felt better, I think, than like anything we had played like in a long time. Just, it was so fluid, right?
Oh, it's a good game.
And it's because they're doing the 3D 2D animation. And so that was kind of like a goal for us, is we really wanted to, like, if we were gonna be making some sort of action platformer, we felt like the bar had kind of been now reset by Dead Cells, and so we really wanted to make sure we were able to at least compete on that level. And I think that we've done a good job in the way that the game feels. And in terms of like look and aesthetic, I think because it moves so fluid, similar to Dead Cells, and because it's a pixel looking game, like that's where you make the comparison.
It's true.
But if you do like stop to like look at them side by side, they are like pretty like drastically different, I think. And it's one of those things we wanted to kind of capture the feeling of the game, but make kind of our own thing. And I think that's why we have, as we've gone along in development, we've tried harder and harder to really make some distinctions. So like not going procedural generation, and making it more of a loot based game where it's not like, oh, I got this weapon and then lost it. It's like, no, this weapon you can run with it the whole time if you love it, and if it's a
Yes.
really powerful mythic weapon, then sweet, right? So
Now, one of the things I've been dying to ask you all, because
yes,
last time we saw you was at PAX East 2020, also known as the last normal thing
I
we were ever
know it's
allowed to do,
crazy.
and you had just launched. So, and
Yes.
you're early access, and so I've been really curious, how has it been launching a game and basically keeping it up in its early moments during what has been a very transformative COVID related worldwide experience? Like, you basically launched right when all of this started going down,
Oh, great timing.
right?
Yeah, no. It yes, we so PAX East started on I think the Thursday officially, like the 27th, and so we launched that day in early access on the Epic Game Store, and I think then it was I think after we get back, there's 1 week in the office, and then I actually was going on vacation, and I went down to Myrtle Beach, and that's when like
Yeah.
everything like really exploded, and I actually ended up coming back home like halfway through the vacation because that's when we decided everyone was going to be working from home at that point. So about 2 weeks after launching the game in early access, we had to pivot everything to working from home, and it was actually a way quicker transition than I think like any
Really?
of us thought it would be. And I think for the most part it's there's things here and there every once in a while where you're like, oh, I really wish I could just grab somebody and bring them into a room and work with them that way, but it's been a much easier transition than I think we expected. And so we were initially planning to kind of go with like a monthly release schedule, and so far we've been hitting that each month, and we actually have the newest update coming.
Ooh.
I believe it is the June 7th or the 6th. It's the Monday. And yeah, so we've been able to roll with the punches. There's some hiccups here and there, but I think the big thing has been it's forced people to be a lot better in communicating exactly what they want or what they need. And so yeah.
Have you found that the COVID forced staycations for everyone, like just having to be staying indoors? We keep hearing all these other games hitting these new records of player engagement. Have you found Foregone has see as I talk, it's kind of weird because how do you know, because you're so new, how do you know if it's more people finding it because they're staying home or because it's a relatively new game? I guess, how have your player engagement numbers and all that handled during the COVID crisis?
Yeah, I mean, like we've been pretty good throughout. Like we usually, I think it's one of those things that, like you said, it's hard to compare what it would be pre and post because like it's basically been in it the entire time, right? And I mean, I think we've seen sort of spikes around different milestones that you would kind of traditionally see
Mm-hmm.
spikes, like updates and stuff like that, and when there's different promotions going on. But yeah, people have definitely been digging it. We've had a lot of people playing it, streaming it, especially like during that early launch window.
Mm-hmm.
And now, kind of the new wave is we announced last month, I think it was, the dates for consoles and everything. So it'll be coming to Switch and Xbox One and PlayStation 4 in October. So now there's kind of been like a new wave of interest for that.
I mean, to be fair,
And
that was the Switch version was what we kept hounding you about at PAX.
yeah,
Not that I wouldn't want to play it on an HD console, but there's just something about that genre and that aesthetic that just seems perfect for handheld on the go.
mhm.
And so you couldn't commit then. So I've been wanting to thank
Yes,
you for that since then. I guess I'm
yes, I
double
believe
dipping.
for a long time I think we were saying like, we really want it to be everywhere and we'd love for it, and like that's what we're planning for, but until like we could solidify all those details, we didn't want to
Yeah, you just hit that port to
make false
switch button.
promises or anything. So,
How easy was it to just hit that port to switch button that everyone keeps
oh,
talking
it's
about?
just like control, copy, paste, switch, and
Yeah,
then boom, done, right?
you
So,
just got to switch square and triangle to X and Y. It's fine.
yes, exactly. Like, I mean, the one thing was, and like you said it feels like a game that is just like at home on Switch, and I think it's probably because like the roots of Nintendo and like the traditional 2D side-scrolling games, and that's why everybody feels that, and because the Switch has become like this indie powerhouse. But so we knew that early on that the Switch was definitely like our number one target, I think, for what we wanted to get it on in terms of the consoles. And so we've had dev kits for quite a while, and we've been throughout development, we've been poking around with it on the Switch to make sure that everything's going to be running nice and smooth when we do go do the full port and everything. So that's kind of been good throughout, that we've been checking in there, and it's not something that's going to just like all of a sudden fire up right
Right.
close to.
So
Yeah.
now that I can't ask Switch port win, I guess PS5, Xbox Series X win. Yeah.
I mean, if the interesting thing is I mean, there's the PlayStation. They're having their talk next week, right? It'll be interesting to see what they have to say in terms of like, are PS4 games just going to,
Yeah,
you know,
backwards
work in.
compatibility is such a question mark right now.
Yeah, especially for them. Whereas it seems like Xbox, at least they've been saying, if it runs on Xbox One, it should be able to run on Xbox Series X.
Series
That's the
X, the
official X. Yes,
XSX.
the SSX. Yes, and I know it's one of the things that like we've been saying the entire time is I'd like to have it, wherever you want to play it. Then that's where we'd like to bring it. So I know getting it on Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 is definitely something that we're going to do. But don't know exact specifics on how those things are going to work out just quite yet, because we got to see what the platforms say in the
Right.
next month or so.
Now speaking of being on a specific platform and everything, you launched on the Epic Games Store. Are you in any capacity to tell me how that deal came about, or how has just being on Epic been for you all?
Yeah, so Epic approached us, early on. I think when
I mean,
was
that's
it?
got to be a good feeling,
So,
right?
yeah, sometime last year we had some like early demos, and we were showing it to them, and they were like really 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 digging it, and it was kind of just like a back and forth conversation with them. And at the end of the day, it just seemed like a right fit. They had been super interested the entire time, right? And so as an indie developer, having somebody like having the platform holder wanting to go to bat for you, and wanting to help promote something with you, that's definitely an encouraging thing, and something that you can't guarantee successes or anything like that. But when you're having somebody put forth all this extra promotion, like when we launched, we were on the front page of the Epic Games Store, and we were there for a while, and they posted about us on their YouTube. We were in the Game Awards sizzle reel with Epic Games, and so they gave us a lot of opportunities to get out there, and it's been awesome. We've loved working with them. They're super super easy to work with, and like you can just send a quick message about anything, and they're there to talk to. Whereas being from a developer where we haven't done a whole lot of Steam games or anything like that, we don't have those relationships, and it's a bit more difficult because I think there's just like so many games on Steam that it could be hard for them as a platform holder. Like I could see dealing with all these developers, right? So it's kind of something where after you've been on Steam for a little bit and seen your success, I think that's where you have a little bit more ability to speak with them. And so because we didn't have that, we thought it was good to go with Epic at the time, and yeah, been great. I've been very happy to work with
Well, I would say that your success is a foregone conclusion. I've been
them.
waiting to
Yes.
say that since we started. Thank you for allowing me to.
Well, there you go. It
What?
set you up and you knocked it out.
Oh, that's why we're a great partnership.
Yes.
M&M. That's what I'm going to call us
Yes.
now. So, what do we have? I know if console launches are in October, that means between now and then, early access will be coming to an end theoretically. What is your most most interesting or exciting thing that we want players to experience between now and then? Give me a scoop.
Now and then.
Give me the scoop.
So the early access will end on October 5th, basically as the consoles go live and everything. So that's all going to be harmonious right there. And the update that will be coming just before that is going to be a sort of like the big final quarter to the game.
You can just say it's going to be a doozy. That's fine.
It's going to be a doozy, and it's kind of going to be tie a lot of things together, and it's what I'm most excited about. So that last little quarter there, which I'll say is we're calling it the tower and stuff like that. That's going to be something that I'm really excited to play with from what we have, going on behind the scenes. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And if you haven't played the game, or if you have played the game, that's definitely something that I think you should be excited about as well.
Have you ever thought about doing a comparison trailer closer to launch where you show what the game looked like at initial early access to its final form? I've always wanted to see, because when you're playing it as it goes, you kind of forget all the stuff that it used to. I don't know, it's a weird thing, early access games, because when you're so close to the evolution, you forget what things used to be.
Yeah, you kind of lose the like update to update, the changes and what gets added and stuff like that. That is a good idea. I mean, like I've
that's
put
a free idea from me to you.
Yeah, well, thank you. I've put together some GIFs and stuff that have shown
you mean
kind
a
of
GIF?
Yeah, a GIF. I made a GIF. The progress that we've come from actually the PAX West demo that you played to, I think this was right before early access, with where the game was at going into early access. And it's one of those things back at PAX West, I remember seeing that, like having that demo and seeing it and everything, and comparing it to the PAX East build that we had prior to that, where we were at PAX East, but it was like kind of behind closed doors, just meeting with people and showing them early builds of the game. And at the time, I thought that PAX East build was awesome. And then when the PAX West build came along, I was like, oh my God, this thing we had before, I can't even compare it. And this thing looks so awesome. And then I remember it was right around December, like late December, I think like late December, where we had a big kind of update that got it looking more like it looks like now in early access. And I remember then going back and comparing that to the PAX West demo and just being like, I thought this thing was awesome, but the strides that we made throughout that whole development thing, it's been really interesting. So maybe something that would be interesting would be to take a slice of that East early prototype almost, and then the West demo that we had, and then early access, and then where we are now, right? And get a real look at it.
So we had someone join us just now, and it's because Saki has a very special connection to you all, because you and your team were one of the recipients of a Son of Saki award.
Heck yeah!
At Saki's screaming from the other room. She's so happy for you. But yeah, I wanted to tie that in and let people know that we've enjoyed your game and thought it was special from the first time we saw it. You were one of our awards, and it's really cool when a game fulfills its promise and it's
Awesome.
what's the word I'm looking for? Not expectations, but it's
Yeah,
potential.
it
That's the
meets
word.
expectations, or
Potential. There you go.
meets its potential. There you go.
Because you when you're compared to such a big indie game as Dead Cells, those are some big shoes to fill, and you not only
Yes, definitely.
met that expectation, but you also forged your own path. You have a very strong, unique identity that anyone that's played it immediately understands. So
Well,
I
thank you, thank you.
I don't want to keep you for too long. So I want you, for the last question I'll have before we hit you with our fun one, is
Excellent.
if someone had never heard of your game until just now, outside of that elevator pitch you gave earlier, like the very marketing
Mhm.
PR thing, what
Yes.
personally is the one thing you would love people to experience, and or the one aspect of your game that you personally just really find worthwhile?
Yeah. I would have said and I might maybe I'll have like a two-parter
Ooh,
here.
okay.
Uh, it is for the long time the dagger weapons that were in the game were just like the most fun that I'd had in quite a while in like a 2D side scroller in just terms of beating up, just because you're doing flips through the air, and I just thought they looked so cool. But then in the most recent update, we introduced gunchucks to the game, which you're probably wondering, what's a gunchuck? And yes, it
No,
is nunchucks that are guns, and I just find them so fun,
I
fun to play with.
I hate
And
to tell you this, but I'm pretty sure the name Gunchuck kind of gives that away.
well, you know what? Like sometimes you might not truly think about it, but yes. So I think at the end of the day, for me, usually when I'm playing a game, it's like, I don't know, is the game fun? Am I having fun? Like that's gameplay is king, right? And uh, just using those daggers and now the gunchucks are things that I love, and I'm sure people would love.
Well, that's awesome. And we interviewed you at PAX East this year. Well, not you specifically, but a member of your
Aaron, I
team.
believe, yes.
Yes, and so shout out to Aaron. But I'm going to ask you our final question because you have not actually answered this before. So the traditional finale question for my interviews is the toughest one of them all.
Oh, okay.
And your answer will determine how I view you moving forward. So
You're putting a lot of pressure on
I got to
this.
build it up. So, in your heart of hearts, if you have to choose
Okay.
cake or pie,
Oh, easy question. I mean, judge me if you want, but without a doubt, it is pie.
that's the correct answer. My
Okay,
man,
good.
M&M can continue to
There we
exist.
go. There we go. I mean, like,
Oh,
not only do you have the versatility of like you got meat pies, you got dessert pies, but it's just like pies are so good.
they are. And you know what? I knew that there was something special here, and that maybe that's why the game's so good.
Yeah, it's the
But
pie factor.
it might be the pie factor. I don't know, but you know what? That just makes me happy to hear, because now I can start the very first Finnterview can be a success because I
Phew.
don't have to end it by hating you for all time. I don't know. It's weird.
Well,
Uh,
I'm happy. I'm happy I could deliver on that front.
Asterisks for all future guests that choose cake. I won't actually hate you. So, whatever. But I just want to thank you for taking the time out. It's your weekend. You're a busy dude with a
Fun.
busy team. So
It's nice
thank
getting
you.
to talk to you.
No, it's been. I'm happy we could finally get you on because you and your team have done such a great job, and I just want more people to know about your game.
Excellent, excellent. Well, yeah, I'm happy to be here anytime. You're a very nice gentleman. Everybody over there at SDGC seems great. So yeah, happy to do it.
Well, you know what? I'll allow it. Thank you so much,
Excellent.
man. You have a great day.
Yeah, you too.